Hey guys, what's up? This is Planner 1 for WugWug.com. First video we've made, so feeling kind of pumped. It's just going to be a short video. Most videos you'll see that I've made previously for poker strategy and elsewhere have all been kind of like 1 hour, 40-minute videos. For WugWug, I'm kind of more keen to do more like 5 to 15-minute videos that aren't so long, and we can just kind of speak about certain things or whatever. Like today with this video here, I'm going to speak about heads-up zoom, and we're not going to go like super detailed, like huge theory session or anything like this. We're just going to have like a rather fun session and play a few hands, explain how it is, how it works. For those of you who may not know, do you play 1 hand at a time, do you play 6 hands at a time, do you play 10 hands at a time? Just showing you how things work. So it shows, we can look at the player pools right now. So it's been here for like a week-ish. So the player pools are showing me here that at NL50 it has 88 people. You can see the cap games are super popular too. There's 86 there. At 100NL there's 38, and at 200NL there's 23. 500NL there's 12, but you can see 2 of these guys have like 8 out of the 12, and the other 2 have 2 tables, so they're probably good regs anyway. At 510 it looks like there's 2, but there's just 1 guy. So let's look at 50, the player pool. You can see 1, 1, 1, 1, mostly 1s. Like there are obviously, of course, some guys playing 4, but there's a lot more kind of fishy guys playing this 50 NL. So if you want to play heads up and you are thinking about playing, then I would suggest, if you're just trying to learn or have fun or have a go at the system, I'd probably suggest NL50 would be the best thing to do. So you can see that it says here you're playing 243 hands per hour. I'm just going to see how this looks like in the compared to the normal ring game filter. So let's look at some guys who are playing heads up. I'm going to just change my filters if you give me 1 second. So let's see how it looks like. These guys are playing over 150, it says. These guys 114, 113. So it doesn't really show you exactly how much there. I'm not sure why that is exactly, so that was kind of pointless. But never mind, it shows us here we're playing 230 hands an hour and 274 in the capped. One thing I would like to say before I start playing is that the cap games seem to have lots of the hyper sit and go guys, heads up guys playing. Similar structure, you play like 20 big blinds, so let's just get into it a little bit. So I'm going to sit in 2 tables here. So you can see I'm playing against 2 different opponents here. I'm going to call once and I'm going to re-raise here. And I'm not going to go too much into strategy right now. I would have check called here with my king high and backdoor flush draw and gut shot. But as it plays on, he checks back the flop, he probably has some form of showdown. I'm just going to give it up, whatever. So I free bet here. You may have noticed that I'm min-raising here with my, I'm min-raising. You notice that NL50 guys who may not be so experienced, the heads up, they're 3xing the button. Most people these days are min-raising their buttons. He called me really quickly. Usually snap calls would be kind of weakish hands, because if he had pocket 10s or something, he may be thinking, should I raise him, should I do whatever. So I'm just going to go bet, and I may check call the river versus, I could check call turn and river versus like good shots that just snap called the flop. So yeah, I'm just going to see that here. So you can see here that every hand we have a new opponent. So you play a hand and you move on. So kind of thinking about what dynamics this makes. Some guys may just be free betting a bunch, because let's pretend that you're playing a normal heads up game versus a friend or versus whoever. If you free bet 10 times in a row from the big blind, nobody's gonna, the guys are just gonna think, okay, this guy's fucking crazy. We have to just like do something, we have to adjust. But because of Zoom, you could play, there's 80 guys, so by the time you get round to the next guy, if you free bet him twice, he's probably not even gonna realize. He may just think, okay, this guy's aggressive or something. So yeah, it means basically that you can do these kind of things, you can exploit some things. Another thing may be small c-bets, so guys can know they can just move on to the next hand and get things over with. I mean, this would be a GTO defend, etc. If I'm going to just fold, so we're moving the action on, I'm going to bet the turn on check too. So I'm just going to try to do an example here. So maybe like if we want to have like super balanced ranges, then it would be okay to fold here. But maybe just because these guys are exploiting this stuff too, maybe you can just 4-bet. Now, heads up zoom is super new. Like it's been here for like 2 or 3 days. I think we get a fold there. Heads up zoom's been here for like a week or so now. So there will be people trying to push these things. So let's just 3-bet the next few hands on every table when the big blind opens and just see how people are reacting. Maybe people are 4-betting every hand. I'm not playing NL50, so I have no idea how people are doing things. But we're just going to 3-bet every time and see kind of, maybe we can get to showdown with some hands. Obviously we flop pretty well here, so we're just going to go for value. So let's just experiment here we're going to experiment with very small c-bets, see if guys have like the quick fold on. Obviously we're going to call that shove. We're going to have very small c-bets, and we're going to consider 3-bet and pre-flop a lot. So these are the 2 things we're just going to try out. We saw this time this guy just randomly shoved this second pair, so you can see there's some fish here too, and we're also obviously going to 4-bet a lot too. So basically we're just going to try like different moves of how we can get along. So last time we saw someone 3-bet folded. Of course these sample sizes are going to be super small, so it doesn't matter at all. On this board texture, I think it's going to be best to protect our equity somewhat, bet very small so that we could potentially get a king high float or queen high float or jack high float or ace high float. Maybe something like king 10 of clubs could call us here. If he raises, then he's really not representing such a wide range. He's got a kind of shortish stack here. He's Hungarian too. I feel like the best thing to do here is just to call and then call the river, and if he has his beat, he has his beat, that's fine. I feel like they're just going to 5-bet shove pre-flop their pocket pairs, and I'm not sure they're going to slow play too much, and it's just very hard for him to be credibly repping a certain hand on here. When we take so much time as well, I mean, we're just going to call, it's fine. Notice here it's pretty large sizing here. When he checks, I feel like we should bet again just for some form of protection, and this guy could potentially spew if he's taking this random flop line. So I'm just going to bet 5 again, and if it just means we get that little bit extra value out of our hand if he does calls the ace or the king highs. He's a fish, so it doesn't matter so much anyway. On a river, I guess we should just check back, get to showdown. We've made like, if he has like some form of ace high, yeah. So I mean, we kind of assumed he had that kind of hand, so it was an okay read. So small c bets, people are raising. Okay, that's quite interesting. Our normal assumption would be that people would normally just quick fold and go to the next hand like they do in Zoom. The only thing which would counter that argument would be that in heads up Zoom, you always on to the next hand whenever you fold, so it doesn't matter so much. So let's try to experiment with some more free betting anyway. We've had a couple of interesting hands. Like I said, I don't want the video to be too long. Just want to move on to the next thing. My next video should be out on Thursday. It's going to be a multi-table in Zoom video. So we're going to be playing. One other thing you can notice here is we don't have stats. So for some reason, heads up Zoom's not being incorporated into Poker Tracker just yet. So we went for a larger c-bet size in here. So this is another thing which is quite common with people making these check raises. Because if you know a guy always check raises you, you're not going to fold much. But because it's so rare that we play in these same guys in these bigger play pools, then it's going to be better that they can just take these exploitive lines and check raise, hoping that we just want to move on to the next spot too. Unfortunately, he called, which is not great, but very happily we turned top pair. So I'm going to bet again for value and potentially inducing. There's lots of draws out there. We got a free bet here, and I'm going to experiment just calling here. I feel like 4-betting is obviously okay, but our assumption is that they 3-bet fold a lot, so we're just going to go ahead and call. On the river here, I'm going to check back, and hopefully he has queen 10 or something. Yep, so we got some more value from his draw. So when he bets here, I don't feel like raising is going to be too good. It's of course going to be okay, and it's going to be profitable. I think the most profitable line here is going to just be to call and let him barrel off. Ace is not a great card on the turn, of course, but I feel like folding on the turn would just be a little bit too dirty, so I'm going to assume that we should just keep calling down. When he checks, I feel like checking back and betting the river is going to be good. 1, we may get a bluff out of him. 2, he may have like queen jack and just ping a queen and we can get value. And 3, I don't feel comfortable betting turn on river for value. And I feel like it's a better idea to get value on the river. He can bet on some missed spades or something like this. And if he checks river again, I'm not really putting him on an ace or an 8. If he bets a river here, I'd say his range could be like queens or jacks. Although NL50 people will play more passively for value. That's a big sizing. That's a very big sizing. I'm going to check back with my backdoor flush draw here. I feel like we should just fold now. It's pretty close. I mean, we have like the best hand in our range. We basically are assumed that we or we're perceived that we're going to bet ace-x on the turn. It looks like we have some kind of 7 now, and his bet size in here, with my perceived range, his bet sizing doesn't make too much sense. So I'm going to call and hope he doesn't have like some random hand. Yeah, so he has king jack. So I mean, it was kind of a tough call in the river, but when we added it all up, it didn't make so much sense. So I'm going to sit out the next 2 hands. I just made almost 2 buy-ins, trying to show you guys how this works. So thank you for being my audience. It's been a pleasure. Let's hope I don't get cooler than this last hand. Again, we see this kind of 150, but this guy, Indian guy with like 90 big blinds is most likely going to be a fish. So you can see this player pool is very good. Lots of people are trying it out. I think you should try it out too. So maybe if you try it out after this video and then let me know in the comments how you found it and how you're finding it so far, then that would be pretty cool. Peace.